Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
12-year-old boy, grandmother, shot while in their bed. A 12-year-old boy and his 64-year-old grandmother from the Hellshire Park community in Portmore, St. Catherine, were shot inside their bedroom early Saturday morning. Their identities have not yet been released. Preliminary reports from the St. Catherine South Criminal Investigation Branch CIB stated that the incident occurred around 3:10 a.m. After the police were summoned, they were both assisted to the Spencer Hospital where they were admitted. Portland man charged for December arson. A 22-year-old Portland man was charged with arson in relation to an incident that occurred in the parish on Monday, December 19, 2022. Charged is Michael Burke of Prospect Land Settlement in the parish. A report from the Port Antonio Police revealed that about 4 a.m., the owner of the premises left home for Kingston. She later received a call from her friend who informed her that her house was on fire. On Wednesday, February 15, 2023, Burke allegedly approached the woman, then confessed and apologized for burning down her home. She reported Burke's confession to the police and he was apprehended. He was subsequently charged with the offense on Friday, February 24. He is set to appear in the Port Antonio Parish Court on Tuesday, February 28. Valentine's Day killer arrested and charged. Detectives attached to the Maypen Police Station arrested and charged a 20-year-old man in connection for the murder of 27-year-old Keith McIntosh in the parish on Tuesday, February 14. Charged is Romeo Fullerton of Jerome Avenue, Effortville, Clarendon. Reports were that about 8:30 p.m., McIntosh was at his stall when Fullerton and another man approached him and attempted to rob him. During the altercation, Fullerton allegedly brandished a handgun from a bank and opened gunfire hitting McIntosh in his forehead and chest. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations led to the arrest of Fullerton, who was subsequently charged with murder, possession of prohibited weapon, possession of ammunition, robbery with aggravation, and the use of prohibited weapon to commit a felony. His court date is being finalized. Woodcarver charged after wounding man with a machete in 2017. A 52-year-old Portland man has been charged with wounding with intent following a machete attack in his community on Thursday, July 4, 2017. Charged is Courtney Nelson, otherwise called Tudo, and Woodcarver of Charlestown District, Buff Bay in the parish. Reports from the Portland police are that about 6 p.m., Nelson and another man were in a dispute which escalated into a fight. An argument developed, and Nelson used the machete to inflict wounds to the left side of the man. He was transported to the hospital where he was treated. Nelson was subsequently arrested and charged during a targeted raid at his home on Tuesday, February 21. His court date is being finalized. Prime Minister Holness stated that government remains cautious in handling country's economy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has stressed that the government remains cautious with the country's economy and that it is managing the budget wisely. The comment comes in the wake of criticism from the opposition about the reasons given for postponing the local government election. Speaking at a National Land Agency event, Mr. Holness reiterated what was stated by local government minister Desmond McKenzie, that Jamaica is not yet out of the woods. Mr. Holness said what the government spends money on must yield significant benefits. He said although the economy is recovering, it does not mean the government should be fiscally irresponsible.
So I was just listening to public commentary on a matter of the local government elections. Now, I'm not addressing that matter here, but there was a sense that, and I'm just trying to guard against it, that all of a sudden the Jamaican economy is so strong and so robust that we should not still, in our minds, maintain a posture of being cautious and careful about what we're doing. Jamaica has not had, for a very long time, a long runway of sustained economic progress. We are just about getting there where we can see our engine revving and we have a long runway to take off. We don't want to disrupt that. Right? We must protect our economic program and we must make wise decisions about whatever increased revenues that there may be, and what we make the decisions to spend them on must be on things that are going to yield significant strategic benefits and material benefits and increase in well-being for the long term. And that's the posture of the government. As I said, I'm not making a comment on the local government issue. I'm making a comment on the economics of the situation. So whatever commentary there is on the local government issue, I'll address those at another point. But I want to be clear that we must not make it seem as if we are out of the woods. All the stars seem to be aligned, but that alignment lasts because we are approaching with great caution, with deliberateness, and being fairly conservative in how we manage our fiscal affairs and how we promote economic growth. Right? So I just wanted to place that in the public domain for consideration, because all of a sudden, the same people who were saying we're not doing well are saying, no, you're doing well, so you can go and make stupid decisions. And I just thought I'd add some levity to the conversation.
Malahoo Fort appeals to warring factions to end feud. Member of Parliament for St. James with Central, Marlene Malahoo Fort is appealing to warring factions in the parish to end the feud and seek justice the legal way. Since the start of the year, 21 people have been murdered in St. James. This is the second highest number of murders in a division, with Kingston Western leading with 22. Speaking with reporters at the Junior Chamber International First National Meeting in Montego Bay, Mrs. Malahoo Ford said there ought to be more regard for life. Noting that there is a justice system, she urged persons to not take matters into their own hands.
The right to life is a top-tier right. If you don't have your life, you can't enjoy any other of the many rights that are guaranteed. And I think it is a crying shame that so many of our people feel that they have to settle their scores by taking life. Every time I hear about an alleged murder, somebody has died because of an allegation of murder, it cuts me to the core, and especially when it happens in my constituency. So I really want to call on the warring faction, as I hear it being said. I've had my briefing with the police and I hear the allegations that are being made. I just want to say killing each other is not the way to settle the score. All of us become victims. An entire community is under curfew. No, 2 communities. We're all suffering the consequences of the few who choose to settle their scores by gun running and killing each other. We can't afford it. So you're entitled to your due process, but believe me, you must get your justice and you must pay for it, those who are guilty of committing the crimes. I don't know how else to say it, because I have no sympathy for those who choose to pick up the gun illegally and kill with it. Options are available to you. Reach out for help. The state is trying. My offices are there to help. The police are there. Members of your community, reach out for help. Put down the gun and stop killing each other.
RGD warns against use of unlawful means to obtain documents. The Registrar General Department, RGD, is warning Jamaicans against using unlawful means to obtain documents provided by the department. Manager of Identification, Verification and Identity at the RGD, Karen Jones, told reporters that many persons fall victim to unscrupulous individuals who purported to be representatives of the RGD. Ms. Jones said persons who visit the RGD to use its services must beware of people who claim to be able to provide documents faster than the usually allotted time. She added that exorbitant fees must be considered a red flag.
The Registrar General's Department has set fees for documents for birth certificates to range from between $1,500 to $8,000, depending on the priority service. Now, persons, if they come and they recognize that they can't get the service, or somebody might intercept them because they might be having a difficulty, persons might pay upwards of $20,000, $30,000 to get a document. The Registrar General's Department does not charge that amount of money in order to get a document. So when you realize that you're paying in excess of $8,000, dependent on the service, I advise that you inquire at the Registrar General's Department how much is the service, and then based on what is being told to you, you can say, hey, there's a problem. You're paying too much money and that's a problem.
Judge's absence stalls drug smuggling, money laundering trial. The 3-year-long trial of 4 businessmen who are accused of being major players in a drug smuggling and money laundering ring between Jamaica and the United States is set to continue on March 24. The decision was made when the men, Montego Bay residents Robert Dunbar, Delroy Gill, and Louis Simmet, along with United States citizen Melford Daly, appeared before presiding parish judge Kirsten Grant on Friday. The trial had been scheduled to continue, but the judge presiding over the case was unavoidably absent. The four men are being represented by attorneys at law Hugh Wellman, Tom Tavares Vinson, Martin Thomas, and Oswald Senior Smith, respectively. In September 2019, when the trial began in the St. James Parish Court before Parish Judge Sanjuna Wang Small, Wellman made an application for it to be discontinued on the basis that the charge was illegal because it was brought under the Repeal Money Laundering Act of 1998, which was replaced by the Proceeds of Crime Act in May 2007. But the application was refused and the trial continued. That same month, Wellman then petitioned the Supreme Court for a judicial review, and Justice Courtney Day granted an order healing the trial until judicial review application was heard. The Supreme Court order came into effect after Christopher Drummond, a key prosecution witness who is now serving a 27-year-old prison sentence in the United States for drug smuggling, gave evidence against the four. In February 2020, the Supreme Court, though presiding High Court Justice Simone Wolf-Reeds, rejected an application made on Smith's behalf by Wellman, in which the defendant sought a declaration for the court for the initial of the crime proceedings against him was null, void, and of no effect. That decision by the judge paved the way for the resumption of the trial proceeding in the St. James Parish Court. The allegations against the men are that they were involved in a drug trafficking between Jamaica and the United States 1999 and 2005. Dunbar, Gale, and Smith were arrested on August 30, 2013 during simultaneous raids in their respective residences by officers from MOCA who work in collaboration with the FID. Subsequent investigations led to charges being leveled against Daly.
Please remember to subscribe, like,